we, as in you and I and, Medicare Bob, the whole AmeriLife team, our leadership team here, everybody's been talking about and discussing ever since the new CMS, ruling has dropped. We've looked on social media. We've enjoyed watching the people freak out a little bit, like, okay, we're not the only ones. And then we actually have time to read it. We have time to digest it, understand how, what is really happening, what are the changes to expect after kind of cutting through any and all drama, just to fully digest and understand what's impending. And the question that kind of comes up that I know you've asked a little bit is, is there something to be fearful of? Initially, when everything dropped, that was the question. Like, is there something to be fearful of? Is there anything that's going to give you a little bit of consternation as we approach this upcoming 2025 AEP? And so I'll just start today's podcast off with just that for all those listening in. We've had some really good feedback, some friends in the business that we don't even work with kind of give us their 2 cents. And we want to get it on an actual podcast where you're able to kind of share with us, what are your thoughts after deciphering everything? What are we really looking at here? What do we expect in this new rule change?
Yeah, wow. I think there's a lot to it. So we're going to break that down, as you know, to bite-sized chunks.
Yeah.
I guess we can start with the changes for the agent, because that's probably what people are looking at the most. And then we can talk about the different dynamics of the changes for the FMOs, for the clients, and for the insurance companies, right? So what does that mean and how does it all work? So I think I'll start first by the agents, right? So CMS releases this thing every single year called the final rule, which of course is not final if you change it every year. It's final for that particular year. So there's always adjustments to it. So just so people understand is the people that run CMS, which is the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they get appointed by those that are in office. So whoever runs the administration, they give an initiative to those individuals and say, hey, listen, this is what we would like you to do. This is our agenda for our administration, whoever's in the Oval Office. And these are the changes we'd like to see. Maybe we want to cut spending here. We want to increase spending here. We want to do X, Y, and Z. And those are the changes that provide us with uncertainty. So the regulation aspect is what helps us as whenever those new rules comes out, is what helps us is the AmeriLife working with them. And like Chase mentioned, a bunch of the other top performing individuals, affiliates with AmeriLife that have that insight because they have decades of experience. I've been in the industry a decade and I think that's a long time, but I will tell you there's people that are in it way longer than me and they've seen more than I have seen in that period of time, of course. So they've released this document over 1,300 pages. No one person can tell you with absolute certainty on what's going on. I prefer to wait, like every year whenever this stuff changes, to wait for the carriers and their interpretation of it. And they'll give us that interpretation. Where do we stand? And how does it impact everybody that's involved in this whole supply chain, if you will? The whole sales process and everybody, right? I mean, you're also talking, besides just talking about the agent, who else are you talking about? You're talking about the clients, the companies, the FMOs, the doctors, the hospitals. Those insurance companies have a ton of staff as well. How does it change for them? So I think those are all, really, really good questions to ask. And what I liked about the document that came out this year is that the agents were shown and said to have so much value. And I really appreciated that for the government to say, hey, listen, y'all have a unique position in this industry because Medicare is confusing. Medicare Advantage plans is something that people need help navigating, right? Because doctors change every year. I mean, you have to think about what happens during AEP. New companies can come into a territory. Existing companies can remove plans from the entire market, which I've seen countless times in countless territories. A new plan from an insurance company can be rolled out into the market. And most importantly, most importantly for 2025 is that the changes will be for the existing plans that people are in. So whether that be the enhancements and or the reductions of plan benefits. So the agent's job and responsibility is to help the clients as an expert navigate that confusing market. And every year since I've been in the Medicare space, they said, hey, agent, we're going to pay you more money because we understand that there's intricacies of it. We also understand that there's inflation that exists just in general. So perhaps it's good for you to get paid more. So I love all of that aspect. And I think it's an ever-changing dynamic in the industry. But to see them say, hey, agents, we're going to pay you more money. We appreciate what you do. We see value in what you do. And the beneficiaries, the Medicare beneficiaries, the people that you're helping, they say that there's value in what you do. So if there's fear that you're out of business, that you're leaving, the industry and they're going to regulate you out from an agent's perspective, that's clearly not the case, as stated by them in their CMS 2020 final rule.